Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaos. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again, another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your keeper for the evening, Keeper Michael, and we are back in England with our crew for Masks of Nyarlathotep, and we have such wonders and sights to show you. So, first introductions to my right.
This is Lonnie. I'm playing Lawrence Edward Oliver Forsyth, and we're going clubbing.
Indeed you are. To his right.
I'm Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and Mr. Forsyth and Jack are going to probably get in some trouble.
It's always possible. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, and I never get in trouble. I don't know what you're talking about.
She's just jealous she's not clubbing with us.
Right?
I am.
To Jake's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tattenbach, who has been thinking many deep and complicated thoughts.
Yeah, you had a rather juicy event last week, didn't you? To the doctor's right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and I just hope that Jack and Lawrence don't get clubbed with the club that I found.
Yeah, that would be bad. And then last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Simone Roger. I guess we're still a bird perching.
You're returning to Limehouse, yes? To your temporary location?
Yes. Home.
Home, sure. I mean, as much as any place is home for you. But this one has a nice landlady. And she bakes you muffins. So, as we raise the curtain tonight, we will go back to the Waldorf Astoria, and we will look in on Mr. Forsyth and Mr. Doyle as they head to Soho to investigate the Blue Pyramid Club. You probably would get out there mid-morning, say maybe at latest noon, yes?
Yeah.
Finding the club isn't terribly difficult, at least finding it by the directions that you were given from your contact at Scotland Yard. Inspector Barrington was nice enough to remind you that they had the club watched, but they couldn't get any sort of tangible evidence from it. It's situated around 12B Meade Street in Soho, London. You see that there's quite a few cheap eating houses and coffee shops like the Moorish Cafe and the Algerian. It seems to be fashionable with intellectuals and writers and artists. There is a very bohemian air to Soho. You see a lot of people that don't look English at all. A lot of foreigners, a lot of maybe people who are chasing the white dragon, maybe a few drunken revelers. It's got quite a different vibe to it, Jack. It almost feels like, quite frankly, it reminds you of the Levee district in Chicago.
Yeah, I feel a little bit like home.
A little bit. One of the things you first notice as you're going down the street towards the address that the inspector gave you, and that is all the places here, all the locations that look like club fronts, they're all closed.
Well, it's probably not time for them to open.
Yeah, I kind of figured this was a nightclub, so it probably was not going to be open, but I wanted to get it at least get to it and see, make sure.
Sure. The outside of the building is relatively nondescript. You can tell that there's a door there. You see that there's also a green grocer at the main level. So as you're walking down the street, there's a green grocer there, and that you can tell that there's a pair of dark black doors where this number 12 is. There's no actual sign that says Blue Pyramid Club, but you see the 12B.
All right. Well, kind of reminds me of Chicago.
Quite a bit, actually.
Does it remind us of a speakeasy in the sense that you better know somebody to get in? Do you think? Just from the look of it?
I think you could take that interpretation from it, Mr. Forsyth. It does seem like it uses the word club with a capital C.
Right, well, I mean, might as well knock on the door.
Better idea.
Hmm.
Why don't we go get some coffee?
All right.
Okay. Going to just a local place around here?
Yeah, you said the Moroccan Cafe.
Yeah, Moorish Cafe. But, yep, it's there. And it is available for you.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite a few different places to sit. You can smell tobacco as well as coffee in the air here. The guests here are definitely the literary type.
Yeah, we'll get some coffee.
The gentleman behind the counter serves you some coffee as you're at. There's a few different selections here. There's also tea, a wide selection of tea here as well.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Is everything all right?
Yeah, so everything's great. Do you know anything about the club across the way?
His eyes perk up a little bit. Well, it's another club in Soho.
Yeah. Well,
Place I hear. Have you been?
no, I haven't. I'm just interested. I heard from some other people that it was a really nice club, and I thought I'd check it out later.
Yes. Looks around the cafe for a moment. Some of the members come in here around 5 o'clock to fortify themselves before the evening's events.
Of course.
Members? Is it a private club?
Oh, yes, but very easy on the eyes for gentlemen inside.
Of course.
He leans over the counter a bit and says, "It's not difficult to get a membership, provided you can pay the toll."
Oh, of course. Do you know anything about that?
It's more than a little bit of money, but not too much. He kind of makes a cautionary hand gesture.
Oh.
You should take coins as well.
Coins?
Yes, for the girls.
Oh, very good.
So who would we go see, or do we just do that at the door?
There should be a man at the door, as there always is.
We'll definitely have to come back and take a look.
It opens just after dinner, about 6.
Excellent.
Enjoy your coffee.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Go out, sit down, and enjoy your coffee.
Just people watch for a little bit.
Well, the area here is full of very interesting people. Many different cultures, many different predilections. You can see that there are a fair amount of there's a fair amount of buying, selling, and trading that goes on in the streets of Soho. It has a reputation for sure. You also see a significant lack of police officers. Whereas when you were near the Waldorf Astoria, you would see them walking in relatively regular intervals. It's about a third of that here.
Interesting.
Feels like Harlem.
A little bit. You also hear a lot of different languages here. Egyptian is very prevalent.
You know, Lawrence, I've thought that maybe somebody should learn a little bit of Egyptian if we're going to Egypt. Might come in handy.
Yes, it probably will. Assuming we go to Egypt.
Of course, we're going to Egypt.
We're not the ones running this train.
I think you underestimate how much pull we might have here, but that's fine.
So, after about midday and you're finished with coffee, what are the plans for the two of you?
I actually want to go to the Petrie Museum.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, stopping down there isn't difficult. You find the museum just as you did before, quiet.
Hilda's working.
Hilda is working. She greets you as you walk in. Oh, Mr. Doyle, you're back.
Yes. I found out some information that your employer might be interested in.
course. Come right this way. She steps over towards the exhibit area. You can tell that there's nobody here in the immediate area. What did you find?
I found out something about the crime that Mr. Penchurch had talked about, and something about a cult. We have a name for it.
Okay. What is it?
Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh.
Fascinating.
Apparently, they use these large spiked clubs in their rituals.
Any idea what for?
Something about beating people to death.
So they ritually murder people.
Yes. Which is apparently how they're doing the murders, the Egyptian murders. Seems to be the implement they're using here.
So is it just a mimicry, you think?
Honestly, I don't think so.
So you think the cult is here?
I think the cult is here and it's active.
Would be shocking. I mean, the from everything we knew, the cult had died out hundreds of years ago.
I think it's been underground for a long time. Either that or somebody has resurrected it.
Well, I'll obviously mention it to Mr. Penchurch and we can continue it. He's left for the day.
I'll give her our contact information.
She takes it.
Also, he had talked about a rather gruesome death at the British Museum.
Yes.
Well, I found out that the police have no knowledge of it.
No knowledge at all?
None.
How is that possible?
That's a very good question, because it's not like you can just kill somebody in a institute like that and get away with it. No, without the police finding out anything.
No, someone would have said something.
Yeah, you would think.
And be careful going to the British Museum, I guess.
Pass on the information we had gathered, and if he has any insight, could you have Mr. Penchurch contact me?
Absolutely, Mr. Doyle. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And if there's anything else you find out about this cult in London, please let us know.
We will.
I have a feeling that we're on the same side of this war.
Let's hope so. Well, I guess I'll go back to the hotel and...
Miss Lane, you were spending the morning and mid-morning people watching.
That is correct.
There are a myriad of people for you to watch, all shapes, sizes, but most of them are around about the same color. There is a definite air to most of the people that walk in here of privilege, of profit, and even some peerage. So there are some titled people that you hear addressed. So you hear sir, or there are definitely some titles that are lofted around.
Is there anything out of place or anything I noticed that am I being watched, or
You don't really get the feeling like you're being watched. The service staff there is attentive, but they're not watching you per se.
okay? Then probably about midday, I would probably go and grab some lunch, and seeing as I'm alone at the moment, I would take it back to my room and eat in the common room there.
Sure. As you're finishing it up there, there's a knock on the door.
Get up from my table, and before I answer the door, I'm ask, who's there?
Yes, Miss Lane, it's a member of staff. It's from the front desk.
I open the door slightly, and how can I help you?
You see a member of staff dressed in, their fitted attire, and there's a white envelope in his hand. There's a message that's come for you at the front desk.
Great. I take I thanked him. I kind of reached towards my my pocket. I wouldn't call it a pocketbook, but like my change purse, and I grab a tip for them and give that to them.
Okay. They nod and accept it. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Of course.
And I close the door and I go sit back down and open the white envelope.
Open the envelope. It's a note, so it's been folded into two. And it says, I have spoken with Mr. Gavigan on the matter that was brought to my attention, and we would be happy to meet you. And it gives a number to reach them at. And it's signed Thomas Kinnery.
Okay, I am assuming since he said they would be happy to meet with me, or we'd be happy to meet with me, that includes Mr. Gavigan as well.
You could make that assumption.
Unless it's the proverbial we.
Well, it could be the royal we, I guess.
The royal we. Great. So I put that note back in the envelope and put it on the table. And there is one thing I did want to check out, which is kind of why I asked the date earlier in chat, Mike. I know it's one thing that I do want to go check out, the Hotel Metropole.
Okay.
At Richard's place in London. Jackson stayed there when he was here. So I just kind of wanted to, I know it's been a couple months. I kind of wanted to go ask the front desk, kind of check out the place, ask the front desk if they remember Jackson, and if they remember if anybody he might have spoke to or met. I mean, he kind of does leave an impression when he is around, or when he was around, so.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, getting to the hotel is relatively easy. Getting to a member of staff there, the feedback that you get from them is that they don't remember him staying here, that they apologize. They have many guests. After they review some books, because you wouldn't just simply take a simple answer, a member of the management service staff there says that they do have him having stayed here several months ago, but that his bill was paid in full, and that there are no notes of concern on his entry.
And there was nobody that stayed with him, or nobody else that paid the bill?
No. It appears that this gentleman, Mr. Elias, paid for it. Well, there's a note here that he paid in U.S. currency. Probably a member of staff simply just had to make some adjustments to the final bill.
I thank him for his time and just kind of proceed to go back to Waldorf Astoria.
When you were returning, Lawrence and Mr. Doyle are returning at the same time. So the three of you kind of squished together.
I nod over to them.
Miss Lane.
Yes, Mr. Doyle. How was your trip?
We found out a little information.
What's the Blue Pyramid Club about?
It's somewhat of a gentleman's club.
I see. And were you guys able to get inside, or I'm assuming it's not open until later?
Yes, it'll be open after dinner, and at least I don't know if Lawrence wants to attend.
Interesting. Well, I suspect that as a trip I cannot make with you. It would be a little out of place and unacceptable for me to go into one of those.
It may be, yes.
It would probably highly damage your reputation, Miss Lane.
Absolutely, and we don't want to do that.
Not if you're in disguise.
Well, I'm sure you guys will have an entertaining time when you go.
Oh, absolutely.
I did receive a message, from the Penhue Foundation, and Mr. Kinnery is happy to meet with. He talked to Mr. Gavigan, and is happy to meet with me. I am just waiting on a callback from Simone when he is available to see if he'd like to join me on this excursion.
Yeah, sounds like it would probably be a good time for the both of you. I'm sure he's looking forward to it.
I'm sure he is. Other than that, it's been fairly uneventful here. I've just been kind of people watching. What are your plans now? I already grabbed lunch, so I was going to retire to my room for a while to take a quick nap. Because why not?
You know what? I should probably take a nap as well, because it might be a late night for me.
Well, That's putting it mildly. All right, I go back to my room.
Very well. Simone, you arrive at your house, your home.
It's got to be super late, right?
It's pretty late, yeah.
So I will do my absolute best to be as stealthy as possible, so as not to unnecessarily wake up anybody.
Quiet as a church mouse, you manage to find your way back inside. You are fairly confident as you begin to make your way upstairs that you haven't roused anyone's suspicions at this point. And making it into your room is relatively easy. You know the stairs, you know the hallways, where to step and when not to step. And as you enter your domicile, you notice that there is a note at the door.
I smile, pick it up. I don't look at it right away. Is there anything written on it?
No, there's nothing written on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just hold on to it for now. I shut the door, I kind of settle in, and I just kind of start getting things together so I can draw myself a bath. And when I do that is when I'm going to read this, whatever it is.
It's just a relatively simple note from your landlady who says that a woman named Lillian reached out and said that you would know how to contact her. She's looking to speak with you.
Awesome.
And you can even tell the care that the landlady took to even write the note. Like, her penmanship is exceptional.
I'll just kind of hold on to it for a second and set it on the sink while I settle in. And I guess I'm going to relax for a little bit, get cleaned up. And then I'm going to take the basket that my pastries came in, make sure that the towel that they came with and everything is there. I'll be grabbing some extra clothes and whatever I can snag out of the pantry to make sure that I still have a bit of food in case my rooftop stay is going to be extended. And then I will leave again. But on my way out, I'm going to drop the basket off at her door, and I'm going to fold, what is it, a pound sterling into the towel, and I'll leave it there, like outside her door.
That's not very nice of you. So your bath, as a note on it, is exceptional. Getting clean after being on that and being around all of the chimney sweeping is it's something else. Unfortunately, it didn't last long enough this time. But yeah, you make your way back out in the evening. So you're planning on refocusing back at Penhew?
I have to get in touch with, if it's the middle of the night, essentially. And a gentleman caller isn't really something that I want thrown around the front desk. So I will prowl around the docks for a little bit so I can get an idea as to where or whether or not there's a Ferris and Sons out here. Whether it's a warehouse or a garage or whatever. I look for the truck or the sign for some time without,
Okay.
Following that, I will probably wait until morning, and then I will call the hotel before breakfast.
All right, I'll play that in mind. We'll get back to you in a little bit. Earlier that day, after their encounter at a very troubled asylum in Bedford, Dr. Tottenbach and Miss O'Shea are making their way, I assume, back to London.
I really want to get to that house, since we have a good general idea of where it's at. However, if Samantha knows where it's at exactly, but I think we might be able to find it, and if it's not that far, we could just take a train.
Well, one of the things you realize, Miss O'Shea, that you're struggling with is you're struggling with knowing where any of these places are. It's like being in a big city again and simply not knowing where all of the suburbs are.
Yeah.
Whereas Chicago is in the 20s is very much only densely packed around the downtown area, north side, and then obviously the south side is the industrial part of town. London has been around for hundreds of years, if not, well over that. And so there are boroughs and neighborhoods, and you don't know enough of the city. You need to get a better lay of it. And while it might be all well and good to strike out and go to Camden immediately, the one thing that you're having a hard time getting past is the smell of burning flesh.
Yeah, I know. But also, I'm like really close to finding potentially where my father went, so that is kind of a driving force.
Okay.
So she's willing to ignore that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we got to get on a train either way, so either way it's going to be uncomfortable, I guess.
How are you finding your way there?
What, to the train, back to the train station?
No, I mean, specifically to Camden, how are you finding your way there?
Oh, I was going to ask the train station, like how long of a car drive, or I mean train ride it would be.
They tell you fairly clearly that back to London is about an hour or so from where you're at. And then it would probably be another 30 to 40 minutes north.
What time is it now?
At this point for you guys, it is probably about 11-ish or so.
Okay, well then I would say, looking at the train schedule, take a train back to London, get cleaned up, and see if there's a train. I feel like I'm so close.
As do I.
You guys get on the train that arrives. It takes probably another 10 or 15 minutes of just sitting at the station waiting for the next train, but because Bedford is further out than London is. Once it arrives and you climb aboard, as you guys head deeper and deeper back into the belly of the beast, as London is often known as, the passengers around you are definitely having a reaction.
Oh, they are.
It's very difficult to get away from the smell of burning flesh.
I'm just gonna keep my eyes down.
You keeping your eyes down, Miss O'Shea, and in your memory, in your head of all the thoughts that are going through it at this point, remembering Walmsley's kaleidoscopic eyes keeps replaying in your head.
Yeah, I'm gonna open that book again about the Black Pharaoh to see if there's any reference to colors. Like maybe that serpent in particular, did it describe the colors that serpent, the winged serpent, had? If it had specific kind of eyes?
You don't get a specific eye color per se, but one of the notes in Crompton's book here, it does talk about article that he found in the Manchester Guardian that referred to him. So he does a little bit of kind of tooting his own horn, and you see that he has kind of transcribed the part of the article about fire that he started in a grammar school, and it was all to get this unfinished bronze Egyptian pharaoh bust. Evidently, he set the school on fire, retrieved the bust while the school was on fire, and was seen leaving the building, fully engulfed, but not in any way, shape, or form accosted by that fact.
And when did he write this book?
Oh, this would have been, it was in the 1800s.
Oh, right. It was 1801.
Yep.
Okay, so he is long dead.
He is, but interestingly enough about this story, and what makes it so curious to your mind as you're reading through it, is that this article in the Manchester Guardian is dated in 1853.
Okay.
And that people in the area swear it was Crompton who came back for this bust. But supposedly by that time he's dead. In fact, the record here, you would know, shows that he died in 1811. But then 42 some odd years later, the paper records that someone fitting his description left the school as it was burning down, fully engulfed in flame, carrying this bronze pharaoh's mask.
Awesome.
And you guys get back to the hotel. And the hotel lobby notices that you arrive.
Yes, I'm going to quickly, as fast as I can, make it to our area so we can clean up.
The staff do their best to not bother their guests, but They definitely notice you, Doctor.
Yeah, I rush over to the elevator, smile, wave at the concierge as on the way by. Oh, you apologize for the smell. I do apologize. You may wish to light some candles or something. Head on up to my room and get out of these stanky clothes.
You and Jack are rooming together, yes?
I do believe so.
Jack, your nasal passages are accosted by a pig roast. You wake to the smell of a pig roast.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wash my hair too, so whatever I need to do that.
Yep. And likewise, Lillian, your room is as well accosted by a rather foul stench.
Finding a different set of clothing to wear. Muttering to myself the whole way, probably in German.
What is that smell?
I'm sorry, Jack. Things did not go as planned at Bedlam Asylum. That smell is the patient formerly known as Mr. Walmsley. Yes, Mr. Walmsley.
What exactly happened there?
We went to ask questions about Miss O'Shea's father, and the man, he said some fairly disturbing things, but the most disturbing part was then at the end. I don't like to use the term, but it's the only term I can think of. He combusted spontaneously.
Do I hear them talking?
No, not in this hotel. The walls here are very, very good.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, if I could hear, like, exactly what they were saying, but I mean, if I heard them talking.
You do probably hear a couple of voices in the room adjacent to you.
I'm gonna go over there. Is that Jack? Is Jack here? Because I have stuff to tell him.
Yes, my dear. Come in.
Yes, Miss Lochay, I'm here.
I love, just as an aside, I love how Maeve went into her own room that she shares with Lillian, likely woke her up, and then left.
Right. Here, have some smell. I'll be right back.
So
here, have some.
This is
Misery loves.
This is
company.
absolutely something that Lillian would notice. It is you would be unable to get away from this.
Yeah, it woke me up from my nap, and I just kind of wrinkle my nose, and I'm like,
It would have woken you up from the dead.
yeah. I just kind of like shake my head, and I kind of get up and go find a bathroom to hide in, to try to get away from it.
It's a good idea.
Okay, so Jack, I have more information about this Black Pharaoh.
Oh God, Jack, she smells like death.
Doctor casually opens the window.
So one of their main symbols is the inverted ankh.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm speaking about?
I don't know. Do I? Probably not.
Okay. Then I will grab the book and show him the symbol.
Jack, this looks like something similar to what Pencher shows you.
Oh yeah, I probably saw it as something, somewhere in the museum there.
The other thing is they have a ritual, which is, it's really graphic, but one of the things that they do that involves potential cannibalism is they use this spiked club, and I have a picture of it, so I'll show them the picture, and it rends the flesh from living beings, people.
Oh, so according to the inspector at Scotland Yard, this is what they've been using in the Egyptian murders, something like this.
So it's very much this cult, it sounds like. And they referred to their Black Pharaoh as Nephrin Ka, but it sounds like it's very similar to I can never say his name. Anyways, the other guy you were talking about.
Nyarlathotep.
Maybe it's best you don't say his name.
Yes. and they supposedly summon a winged spirit, and they perform acts to this body while it's still alive. It's part of their ritual. The other thing, we went to go find Wolmsley. I originally found him because when I was looking for my father, the last place he was at was the Spiritual Society. So we went there, and the doctor was actually gracious enough to let me become a member so that I have access to their library. So my father was looking for a way to help my mother, and he believed that maybe something from another dimension or him going could help alleviate whatever was pestering my mother, which I've gotten the feeling that there's actually something there, and it's not just her being crazy. I think something is driving her crazy. So my father wanted to prepare a ritual so that he could basically get a portal, right? I have to tell you all this because it'll make sense here in a minute, okay?
Okay.
And you have to have 4 people. So they performed this ritual. Things went bad. My father's missing, right? So we went to go see Peter Wolmsley at Bedford Asylum because I figured that somebody that wasn't maybe fully in control of their faculties might share a little more information than somebody else, because one of the people ended up dead. But the ritual that they had made a black pharaoh reference, right?
Okay.
So when we were seeing Wolmsley, and he was being a little off. So when my father crossed over to the other dimension, apparently, something else came out and possessed him, and he ended up killing one of the other students that were a part of this ritual. He said that he couldn't control it. He said that he was possessed. Before this guy burst into flames spontaneously, I was looking at him, and before that he had been talking about how he saw these lights in this portal, but his eyes changed colors to the colors that he was talking about, and then he burst into flame. On our way home, hopefully you're connecting the dots here. On our way home, I looked back in that book. So this book was written in 1801.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The author, Montgomery Crompton, was believed to have died in 1811. There's this article in 1853 saying that somebody who fit Crompton's description started a fire at a school so that he could get a hold of an Egyptian mask, that he was seen leaving the scene on fire, but lived to write about it.
Is there a description of that Egyptian mask?
It's bronze. Was there a description or a picture of it?
There was not a picture of it. The newspaper article that, from what you can interpret, Crompton transcribed about himself.
Right.
Many decades after his own death.
Right.
It was a bronze-colored Egyptian mask, or bronze Egyptian mask of some sort.
It's just a bronze Egyptian mask, potentially a pharaoh's mask.
Mike, was that mask that Hilda had shown me, was that bronze or?
It was not. No.
Okay, I didn't think so, but I wanted to make sure.
Nope.
It was porcelain or marble, wasn't it? It was white.
It was mother of pearl.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. So, I guess it seems that me looking for my father is also potentially helping us look for a cult. I did mention it started in Liverpool, correct?
I believe something was mentioned last time.
Okay. The other thing is that he died in 1811, but still wrote about himself 40 years later. And I believe that whatever came down to that portal and possessed Wolmsley may be Crompton.
Huh. This is a lot to absorb right now.
Okay. Well, I'll let you have that, and I'm gonna go get cleaned up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna like drop this in your lap and
Thanks,
walk away.
thanks for that information bomb.
The doctor just sits on the bed and smiles at Jack. You see what I had to do today? Hence by the smell.
Okay, so Miss O'Shea, you head back into your room with Lillian, and she's opening windows probably, or going and sitting in the bathroom, and like you need to, utilize the facilities so that way you can properly clean yourself.
Yeah, I probably go in our room, get clothes, and then knock on the bathroom door.
I peek out the bathroom door, and the windows open up in the bathroom.
There's that smell.
And like, I cover my nose and my mouth. I'm like, Maeve, what died? Oh my goodness.
Well, actually, it was Who, and he caught on fire, but I need in there so I can shower.
I kind of gasp. Yeah, that's all yours. I just head out and open up a window in the living in like the common area, and like, sit as close to as I possibly can without falling out.
At this point, I'm just trying to focus on the next thing I need to do so that I don't scream or cry. So she's like, I need in there. Thank you.
All hers.
The two of you collectively get cleaned up. It's probably a little longer of a process for Miss O'Shea than it is for you, Doctor, but after a good scouring, the both of you feel clean enough to continue for the day. It does take us more towards the afternoon at that point. I wouldn't imagine that Jack and Miss Lane get back to sleep after that.
No.
No, probably not.
Jack, especially you're kind of ground zero for all of Miss O'Shea's ravings. And truth be told, it was a lot to follow, and you're not quite sure you understand it all.
Yeah, I'm extremely confused about everything that happened, but I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually. I hope.
Oh, that's what I'll do. And so when we get on our net, I'm just going to put this out there anyways. So when we get on the train to go out to the house, I'm going to start basically writing like a mind map on where all these things, basically, like a conspiracy theory, but without the red twine.
We've made it here finally. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'll help her craft that in any way I can.
I'm just going to try and draw it on a piece of paper in one of my notebooks.
You realize that now that it's getting closer to, say, probably 3 or 4 o'clock, that you're getting hungry.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't eaten since the morning. You suddenly realize that the clock is now against you, as it will take you probably up until after dinner time, what with the London rush hour to get all the way out to Camden.
Do you want to pick up some food on the way?
Yeah, why don't we get some of their little meat pie things?
I was just going to suggest a meat pie.
Easily. So you guys are going to pick something up and head out. Okay.
Yeah.
Jack and Mr. Forsyth, you're heading to the Blue Pyramid Club, I imagined, around about the time that you expected to be open.
Mike, before we leave, I stop right before we leave and look at Miss O'Shea. Maeve, do you want to maybe see if Lillian wishes to come along? Another set of eyes might be good. I understand if you want to keep it just between you and I. That is okay with me. But I was just more idly wondering if perhaps it was a good idea.
Well, I guess what I mostly worry about is she doesn't deal with occult stuff at all. And I don't know if she can handle a lot of the stuff that happens.
Well, I mean, there's no time like the present.
Yeah, but we just left one raving lunatic. Do we want to potentially have another one with us?
Oh, mathematically speaking, what are the odds that we're going to go through something just that horrible again?
Are you new?
The doctor gets a big grin on his face as he says it.
Yeah, because, yes, this does tie to the cult that they're investigating, but it's not really the investigation at large, I feel bad dragging anybody else with. Also, I haven't really talked to them about everything that's happened. The only reason I told Jack as much as I did is because he had to understand where the connection is.
I understand, Liebchen. If you wish to keep it that way, I will honor that. Let us go then.
And we
And
will
I
go.
open the door for her.
So, Mr. Forsyth and Doyle, you head down into Soho at night to head to the Blue Pyramid Club.
Fantastic.
Well, we'll get to that.
Well, hopefully nobody will burst into flames.
Or hopefully everyone bursts into flames.
You never know. So the night in Soho is a little bit more wild than the day. The neighborhood itself comes alive, and there's quite an air of notoriousness. Events happening around here. It almost feels like the papers that you've read about Mardi Gras, Jack. Heading down Mirror Street, you locate the front of the club. You even see, as you're turning onto the street, someone go through the one of the black doors.
I'll be right behind him, but kind of like keeping an eye out less on the door and more on the street.
Sure. You knock, and after a moment, it opens, and you see a very well-dressed doorman. He's dressed from head to toe in black and gold piping, gold buttons, gold cuffs. It's very Art Deco, very trendy almost. And you hear a subtle hint of jazz music coming from somewhere. Well, step in. He takes a step back.
Okay.
Okay. Lawrence, you as well?
Yep.
The door shuts.
Before we get started, I would like it noted that I am carrying a weapon.
Okay.
Actually, two.
The well-dressed doorman presents you a logbook, a very long, elegant black logbook. And he says, "It's quite simple, gentlemen. £5 sterling, and sign your name to the logbook."
Very good.
The logbook is filled with an entire list of names. Some of them are in English, some of them
Can
aren't.
I get a quick idea if Zahir Shafiq or anybody else in there?
Zahra Shafiq?
Yeah, there you go.
Zahra Shafiq? Yeah, you can absolutely scan the book and see if she's there.
All right. We need note. Was it
Yeah, probably spot hidden.
wrong game system? Thank you. Hard success.
You do not see her name on this list.
Yeah, she's probably been around for a long time. I'm sure the list goes back quite a ways.
It probably does.
I have other ideas on that, but I won't say them out loud.
Okay. So after you pay the £5 and you sign the book, the doorman steps aside and he gestures to a lift or an elevator. They would call it a lift here. Right this way, gentlemen.
Okay.
He opens the lift doors and you see that there's another gentleman dressed similarly to the doorman you just left. And he bids you enter, and then once you are in, he presses a button and you begin slowly climbing up.
All right. Nice. Ooh, they got an elevator.
The further and further you go up, the more and more jazz music you hear. It gets louder and louder. When you exit on those floors, the third floor there, when you exit, you hear a full-scale party. The inside of this Blue Pyramid Club is extravagant. It's a stunning level of subterfuge that's gone on here. The outside of this building in Soho is a wonderful cover. for a opulent and very expensively ornated club. You can tell here that every single piece of furniture and decoration has had an extra level attention placed on it. There is a clear Egyptian theme. The club is noisy. There is a cacophony of voices as soon as you exit the elevator. There is a long and inviting bar to your right. There is a floor for floor seating. And then at the back end of the club, you can tell that there is a dance stage. And in perfect synchronicity, there are 4 or 5 belly dancers moving along with the rapturous jazz music. You can see that there are customers paying very close attention to these figures. It's 4 women, 1 man in a rather decadent series of dances.
Hello.
There's even a palm tree here.
Now this is my kind of party.
Is it the palm tree? Is that what does it?
Not quite. But it's a nice touch.
You can also tell, probably within the first few moments of taking this in, that the guests here are dressed very well. It's not a black tie event by any means, but there are no slouches here socially.
None of the underclasses.
No, there are no proles present.
Besides us.
Right. Well, yeah, you now.
Well, I mean, Jack more than me, but you know.
Yeah.
So what are you two doing?
I guess we will find
Head to the bar.
find a place in the bar.
Okay. There's a quartet of musicians continuing to keep the music going. You see several able-bodied bartenders assist you with whatever drinks you require. All of the alcohol here that you imbibe seems and tastes above board.
So I'll talk to the bartender.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our first time here.
Oh, welcome.
What's there to do here, I guess?
He gives you a wide smile. His tanned olive skin nods a bit. Oh, there's many things you can find here to do, my friend. You should enjoy the floor show. The dancers here are top-notch, best in London.
They're certainly lovely.
Keep your coins handy, he calls to you.
I'll do that.
Yes.
So I guess I'll turn to the floor show. But I want to kind of scan the room.
Okay. What are you looking for specifically, Jack?
I don't know. I'm kind of looking for anything that stands out, something odd, I guess.
There are an awful lot of what you would believe are Arabic or Middle Eastern men here. Most of varying ages, but there are some definite Egyptian businessmen here. It seems to be their largest count of clientele. There are also, obviously, right alongside them, Anglo, dyed-in-the-wool white Londoners here as well. And as the floor show becomes a mobile event, the members here begin to fidget into their pockets for coins. And as the dancers pass them, they seem to find a gap in their dress or clothing piece to pay the dancers. And even as they get closer and closer to the middle portion of the club itself, you can see and hear that the dancers pick up a bit more of a jingle to their step.
I also want to keep an eye out, but I'm looking for people who are looking at us.
So if you would like to give me a spot hidden roll, Lawrence, in an attempt to spot people spotting you.
I would love to.
You're not paranoid at all.
Nope. And, well, I don't see anything. 67 over 57.
This is an absolutely wonderful location.
It is.
It seems peaceful and pleasurable.
And no prohibition.
No. And the folks here are readily enjoying the fact that there is no prohibition.
I'll turn back to the waiter. Excuse me. If I was planning a trip to Egypt, would there be somebody in this room that could help me specifically?
Yes, of course. I'm sure that there are many businessmen here who could help you. When are you planning on going to Egypt?
Probably in a few weeks.
All right. What method would you take to get there? Boat?
I would assume so, yes.
Train?
Probably a boat.
Very well. There are many ships that leave Southampton. Wouldn't be too difficult. Or you could go, I suppose, you could go up to Liverpool if you needed to.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there's somebody here who specializes in moving back and forth between Egypt and London. Somebody with a lot of connections there.
Well, I believe I can point you in the way of a man. Why don't you take the table over there at the far end? He points to across your shoulder into a middle or but yet back section of the club where there's a club table that's made available. There's a man I'll put you in contact with. His name is Mahmoud. He should be able to assist you in what I think you're asking for.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'll take my drink, Lords.
Of course.
Yep.
You guys sit down, and a couple minutes later, a rather well-dressed Egyptian man stops over and gives you a slight bow as he approaches the table. May I sit?
Of course. Mahmoud, I assume?
Yes, Mahmoud. He sits down carefully. Understand you're looking to go to Egypt?
Yes. Soon enough here.
All right. Is it just the two of you?
No, there'll be several of us. 5.
Very well, very well.
6.
Is there any specific things that you'll be needing to bring with?
Just some light luggage. Maybe a few weapons.
He nods knowingly. It should be relatively easy to get you to your destination. He finishes his drink. He kind of looks around a bit and motions to one of the waitresses that's working the floor, a very elegantly Egyptian styled dress wearing woman. Another, please. Would you like another drink?
Oh, certainly.
Oh, please.
He puts the symbol up for 3 and then waves her away. You understand, my friends, that this is something that is not complicated for a man like me. I have many connections here within London and also into Egypt. Now, do you know Cairo, your destination? Yes?
Yes, it would.
Very well, very well.
Cairo and perhaps a bit downriver.
I see. Interesting. Well, I could make the arrangements. What is the time frame you're looking for?
We have a few things to finish up here, so it'd be at least a couple of weeks, probably.
When you are sure of the date and time, he reaches into his jacket and pulls out a business card. You can reach me. I'm just not too far, but just a bit north. Give my office a call. I'll handle everything.
Sir, it's wonderful.
that would
Thank
be
you
great.
so much.
And enjoy your stay.
Can I ask you a couple more questions before you leave?
Oh, of course, of course.
I was kind of interested in maybe learning some of your language. Would there be somebody who could tutor me between now and our arrival? Or
I could make arrangements for someone aboard the vessel to walk you through some rudimentary phrases, but the Arabic is a complex language that would take time to understand and fully utilize.
Well, even a little bit, I think, would be handy.
Sure.
Is it best to hire a man to go with, or is it best to hire a man when we get there?
No. Hire someone when you arrive. I will put you in contact with men who are trustworthy. You understand that Cairo can be it can be very unfortunate to visitors who do not understand its ways.
That's understandable. Also, I had heard rumors of a spice merchant who tended to spend time here, and I was really fascinated. It was a woman.
Really?
Yes, which I thought was odd considering the nature of this club.
Oh, you must understand. Things are much different here in London. You can see that there are men dancing for coins just as there are women. Now, there are women members of the club, several of them. They enjoy the club just like its male members.
Do I just take a look over the crowd? Do I see any women in the crowd?
You do see a few, Mr. Forsyth. There's a few women here. And some of them are not so covertly spending their coins on both men and women.
Oh, it's real progressive here. I like that.
That's shocking.
Woman's name was Zahar Zafik, I believe.
I have heard of her. Yes, she owns a she owns a spice shop not too far from here.
Well, maybe I'll go into this shop and see if I can talk to her. You know, I just find you understand that it's a lot different than where I come from. I find the whole thing fascinating.
There are many cultures that you have yet to experience. The waitress returns with your drinks. He takes his and stands up and gives you a courteous salute. When you are ready, my friend, to travel to the land of the kings, call on me. I will be ready.
Thank you.
I'll be
We will.
glad to. Thank you.
You guys enjoy your drink. Why don't you both give me a spot hidden roll?
Extreme success. 9 under 57.
Oh, wow. I failed miserably. I critical failed.
You did. That is a critical failure, sir. Very good. Mr. Forsyth, you are drinking your drink and enjoying it. The whiskey that they've given you is smooth and easily drinkable. It's at the point when you're about to finish this glass, somewhat later on, because obviously you're trying to enjoy it. You notice that there is something written on the napkin that you were given.
Oh. Wonder what it says.
Are you going to take a look at it?
I absolutely will.
Okay. You kind of pull the napkin a little bit closer. Jack, you're a little busy staring at all the dancers as the speed of the music has picked up, and so has the speed of their hips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm totally invested in that now.
So the note, Mr. Forsyth, penned in what appears to be a feminine hand. It says, "Meet me at the Arches, 2 blocks west."
And this was the serving girl who put this napkin down there?
Yep. So, sorry, the full message. Meet me down the street near the Arches at midnight. You can see that it's about 11:30.
Jack. Take a look at this.
I'm looking. Oh, what?
I tapped the table.
You see the message finally, Jack.
Interesting. What time is it?
Yeah. It's getting close.
Maybe we should.
Shall we take a walk in the moonlight?
Are you coming on to me? Yes, we should go.
Don't be silly. I'd do that here.
All right, so the two of you step up and head out of the Blue Pyramid Club, and I think that is
Yeah.
the perfect time to end it.
I hear that Jack's a fairly people find him interesting.
He's progressive. There's nothing wrong with that.
He is.
And so we'll pick it up next week. We want to thank all of our patrons for support. We have some new patrons to thank, and we have some folks who have gone above and beyond. So one of our backers, Tensoon Shadow, is the first member of the Illuminated, so I want to congratulate you on that, sir, and all of the trouble you are bound to cause both of our storylines. And if you aren't a member of the patron yet, you can go to patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast and join in. Our patron backers have tons of benefits that they get a hold of. You can join us on the show. You can be a part of the pre-show fist fight we do. There's a ton of advantages to it. So we hope you check it out, and we will see you next week.